Well, good Wednesday morning. We are keeping a close eye on whipping winds and potential whiteout conditions as we head in the later part of today. Now, this morning, we do have snow on radar, not bringing those conditions quite yet. Just some falling snow that brings light accumulations to the thumb region across southeastern Michigan, maybe a dusting to a half of an inch. The farther north you go, especially north of I-69. But dry for the rest of us, but this will change given that we are following a clipper system up to the northwest. So this low pressure with a strong cold front will start to amp up our wind speeds and have an Arctic air mass behind it, where single-digit wind chills are in our forecast by Thursday morning. In the meantime, though, winter weather alerts have been issued for a good chunk of lower Michigan. The areas in purple you see here from mid-Michigan up towards Alpena are winter weather advisories. Now, all of these alerts go into effect at 5 o'clock this evening, but for areas in purple, maybe 2 to 4 inches. The areas in pink under the winter storm warning could see an additional 4 to 10 inches. And I say additional because those places have already picked up some significant snowfall up towards the Traverse City area and off towards Grand Rapids, upward of a foot of snow in some locations across Michigan. Wind chill readings at this hour have dipped below the teens in a lot of our local communities, including Troy, feeling like 12. Same with Howell, 10 down in Adrian, and 11 at Metro Airport. So right now, live look at downtown Detroit. These are actual air temperatures, and so they're a little misleading because I just showed you the wind chills, but 27 in the city, 23 in Ann Arbor and Pontiac, and 25 in Monroe. Sustained winds about 10 to 15 miles per hour to the southwest. Those pick up and change directions, becoming more west-northwesterly tomorrow, and so that will really factor into the single-digit wind chills. But in the meantime, highs today low to mid-30s, but we probably won't feel like we get out of the 20s. Few flakes fly during the daylight hours this afternoon, but the bulk of the activity arrives late this evening. In the meantime, though, here's a look at what it feels like, teens and 20s throughout the rest of your Wednesday. So let's track the snow. What we have north of I-69 kind of retreats a little bit to the north. So from 9 a.m. through about sunset, pretty much overcast skies. Now, 5 o'clock, we do have some snow bands that are starting to develop, and that potentially could reduce visibility slightly for the evening drive. But what I'm more concerned with, snow squalls 8 o'clock onward that create whiteout conditions with rapid accumulation on the roads. And so this is a look at 8:30, brushing the east side by about 9:30. And a lot of this should be out of here by about 10, 11 o'clock with just a few flakes lingering into early tomorrow. However, when you have whiteout conditions and snow squalls, you can see a quick flash freeze, and as those winds pick up, any untreated surfaces will be awfully slick by tomorrow morning. So overall snowfall accumulations, pretty much an inch or two with lesser amounts to the state line, maybe some greater amounts to our north, but it's going to be those whipping winds that'll be around 40 miles per hour, factoring into feels like temperatures around 0 tomorrow. Blustery for your Thursday, and then we start to climb out of this 40s the end of the weekend into early next week with a chance for rain by Monday. So I think that you could be busy tomorrow, hopefully not too busy today, Darnell. You can rest up for all that activity. We need to forewarn folks on what is heading our way later this evening and tonight, because we are looking at the possibility of whiteout conditions, flash freeze, and so it's going to be tricky for travel later on today. This could be the scene that you're waking up to by tomorrow morning, but let's start with this morning. Temperatures are in the 20s across the area, not far off from our average low of 28 on the east side, but it doesn't feel like that. So wind chill readings right now below the teens in the heart of the metro area, anywhere from about 10 to 15 degrees is what it feels like across southeastern Michigan when you factor in sustained winds around 15 miles per hour and gusts right around 30. Winds will be picking up today. They're whipping all the way through Thursday morning, but we have a few flakes early, but snow squalls are likely late, and that's because our lakes are not frozen yet. So that is just a moisture generator, and we have a really cold air mass coming out of Canada, and boom, that's going to bring some heavy snow bands. So our snow chances really amp up after 8 o'clock tonight until about 11 p.m. Now, as far as snowfall totals, I get this isn't overly impressive for southeast Michigan, but we're picking it up at a rapid rate. So about 1 to 2 inches upward of that into the thumb, lesser amounts down into the state line. However, those winds will be whipping around 40 miles per hour into tomorrow morning. So snow squalls mean you get this burst of heavy snow that's going to lead to whiteout conditions this evening and possibly a flash freeze. And with that, we could see some of those snowflakes lingering into tomorrow morning, Darnell. And I think that we could have some tricky travel even into Thursday morning, though the bulk of the event is this evening.
Yeah, there's something to be mindful about, especially during the morning commute going to and from work. So please be careful. Give yourself extra time.
I'm forewarned meteorologist Ashlee Baracy, and as of this morning on Wednesday, we're tracking a wintry system that will likely roll through late this evening into tonight, but I think that this could also bring repercussions to Thursday morning, depending on how quickly road crews can get out and treat roads that will likely be icy. We'll have some wet snow that accumulates throughout the next several hours. So let's talk snow chances. First and foremost, you might see a few flakes flying throughout the daylight hours. That doesn't amount to much. It's going to be about 8 o'clock onward that we see a rapid accumulation. That's because of some heavy snow bands that will be rolling through the area as a cold front approaches. So 8 to 11 is the sweet spot for lower visibility and rapid accumulation. Now the snowfall forecast kind of widespread 1 to 2 inches, lesser amounts closer to the state line. Worth noting though, the tip of the thumb or any pockets that might get repetitive snow squalls, we could see closer to about 3 inches of snow. So is this the worst snowmaker that we've seen? No, not by any means, but because we could have whiteout conditions later, this is going to make travel really tricky. We're pairing it with incredibly gusty winds too. So as we head into the later part of this evening, especially tomorrow morning, these wind gusts will be peaking around 40 miles per hour out of the west-northwest. That's going to bring us single-digit wind chills, and any elevated surfaces that might be a little wet from the wet snow will freeze, and so we'll have icy conditions by Thursday morning. But these are going to be due to snow squalls. So snow squalls are bursts of heavy snow that could reduce visibility really in an instant. So that creates whiteout conditions that is just really terrible, especially on highways where you have the high speeds. And you could also be dealing with flash freezing on contact, making for slippery conditions. And typically when you have a snow squall, that's where you see the multi-car pileups on freeways. So know that this is a possibility as we head into the late evening and into tonight. Why snow squalls compared to just your average snowfall? Well, we have a really strong cold front coming out of Canada. It's a clipper system. And as of right now, the waters around the lakes are relatively warm. And I say it that way because they're not frozen yet. So that's going to be a snow machine for these makers as it pumps in the moisture. And with that colder air, you see those heavier bursts of snow. So just to reiterate the time frame, we're going to have moderate impacts starting this afternoon through Thursday morning. But the heaviest impact will be 8 p.m. until 11 p.m., where we pick up the quick accumulation of snow and possible whiteout conditions. Stay with your forewarned weather team. We'll keep you posted.